Hey guys, T2 here. Welcome back to the Titan Predators channel. In today's video, we are talking about solar generators. So what is a solar generator? It is essentially a battery, an inverter, and a charge controller all wrapped into one. For this video, I am showing off the Rockpal's 300 watt, but some of the things I mentioned do not necessarily reflect the Rockpal's. Like I might say it can run a fridge, this one can't, okay? It's a general consensus of solar generators. Another name for them, which I like better, is portable power stations. And I think that fits them better than solar generator, because a lot of people have a problem with the name solar generator. So number one, it is a battery. Like you would find in any other solar setup, like my Harbor Freight solar setup, I bought a battery for it. That battery is essentially a battery just like in here. It is a charge controller, so it regulates the speed at which the battery can charge via solar. It is also an inverter. What an inverter does is it allows you to take that DC power of a battery and convert it into an AC current for things like phones, TVs, whatever. So the reason why people like these, number one, they're portable. Yup. This one weighs about 6 pounds. It's 300 watts. Some of the larger ones, which are 1 kilowatt, 1,000 watts, you're looking at 50 to 100 pounds, depending on the model. So they are portable. I can take this on anywhere that I would need power. If I'm going out boondocking in the middle of nowhere, I can take power with me. I don't have to take a generator. I don't have to take anything but something like this. Number two, they are stupid simple. Some of them are a little bit more complicated than others, but for the most part, you simply turn it on, and then you put whatever device you want, so a USB, and then you simply turn the USB on. And now I can plug this up to any USB-A device and charge it. 120, an AC power. Plug the device in, press the button, it comes on. You want to turn it off, you hold down, and it goes off. So very simple. I can give this to my wife. My wife is college educated, but when it comes to electricity, when it comes to hooking things up, no, I prefer it not to be her that hooks things up. But with this, I can hand this to her and say, okay, here you go. And she can go, well, that looks like an AC wall outlet. I could put my device in there. She goes, well, that looks like my USB-C. Ooh. So it's simple. This is a cigarette lighter, right? I can plug any car adapter up into here and plug up the device. With my Harbor Freight solar setup, I do have a battery, I do have an inverter. Trying to explain to her over the phone, okay, well, hook this to that, hook the battery up to the inverter, and then hook the battery up to the charge controller, and then the charge controller up to the solar panels, and then listen, that's complicated, okay? Many of y'all guys out there, you plan your house, you prep your house, but what if you're at work? What if your wife or your girlfriend or your whatever has to do it by themselves? Your kids, right? My kid is 5 years old. I don't want him trying to set up a solar system when the power goes out. Something like this can sit in the closet, and the power goes out, you simply pull it out, you set it on the table, and they can figure it out. Pro number three, they are super quiet. I get the question all the time on some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, man, what would you do if you lived in an apartment and you wanted power? How would you run a generator? We're not allowed to have generators. What are we supposed to do? Buy one of these? I mean, listen, it's on. There's no noise. Now with this one, there is a small hum fan that turns on. Some of them have fans on while they're charging. But this is a whole lot more quieter than that generator over there by 1,000,000 times, okay? Even with the little fan that comes on while this thing's running, you could still speak like normal with this thing sitting right beside you. You're not gonna have to worry about somebody's gonna hear my generator. Somebody's gonna know that I have a fan running, a TV running. My fridge still has power, because these things are stupid quiet and no one's gonna know. Number four, they do help you become off-grid. A lot of people who live either off-grid or boondock camping or do overlanding camping will use these as their main source of power while they're out there. They'll buy a couple solar panels for them, they'll lay them out on their truck, lay them out in the yard, and then it will charge up this device throughout the day. So if you're out boondock camping or you're out overlanding, then now you have that power. Now you are off the grid. Now you are self-sufficient. It puts you in that mindset. Okay, I know I'm going out here for a week. I need this X. I need this solar panel. I need this much of solar because this is how much I plan on running. So it gets you in that self-sufficient mindset. Cons, they are expensive for what they are. The RockPal's 300 watt normally runs $300. $300 for 300 watts of power. And here's the thing, it doesn't come with solar panels. The solar panel was another $250. $500 for 300 watts and a 100 watt solar panel. That's a lot of money. I have a generator right over here. It is a 4,000 watt generator. It cost me $200, $250. So why would you spend $500 on this when I can get that for a fraction of the price and it runs 3 times, 10 times as much stuff? Whether it's something like this or a generator, you have to ask yourself what you are willing to pay to keep power. I prep for a Puerto Rican power outage. Puerto Rico lost power for over a year. That's what I prep for. Something to hit us and we be out of power for a year. That generator only relies on gas. So I can run it until I run out of gas. Then what? Well, then if I had a power station that would run a fridge, that would run a freezer, all I have to do is set the solar panels out in the sun. This one will not do it. This one was a trial run. I wanted to make sure that I liked it, wanted to make sure that they were easy enough to use before I spent $700-800 on another one. So this generator over here is for my short term. If the power goes out right now, I know that I can run my fridge and run my freezer for a couple of days. But there's no point in me running a generator just to charge up a cell phone. That's kind of redundant. That kind of doesn't make sense. And I'm going to spend a gallon, 2 gallons of gas while this thing takes 2 hours to recharge. It doesn't make sense. And that's where these come in handy. This is essentially a power bank. The power banks that you guys carry in your purses, in your bags, in your cars, this is a large version of that. This 300 watt will run a TV. A couple hours depending on the size, but it's not primarily for that. It's primarily to recharge phones, to recharge flashlights, to recharge the smaller devices. Y'all talk about apartment preppers, right? You say, well, there's no point in spending $500 on this when I can buy a generator for $200. And I get it. Apartment preppers don't have that luxury of being able to come out here and set up a generator and drop cord their house. Plus they have no area to store it, store the gasoline. So how are they supposed to, power up their apartment? Something like this, they can set this on the counter and they can give lights, they can give power, they can give your cell phone recharges, they can run a TV, they can run a box fan. The bigger models, right, the 700s, the 800s, the 900s, will run a fridge. The only thing they have to worry about is setting the solar panels outside and make sure they don't get stolen. Run those cords in, power this, now they can power their fridge. That is who should be buying these. Your overlanders who go out for multiple days out in the woods, out in the boondocks, yes, those people. Your van life / homeless people who live in their car, yes, they should have one of these. Especially your apartment preppers, because y'all don't have the luxury of having a building that you can put stuff in. Y'all can't store generators, y'all can't store gasoline, but y'all can store this. One of these portable power stations can sit on a counter, run a fridge, run a TV, power up your cell phones, give you some lights, all while still being quiet and all while still running via solar. So yes, portable power stations do have a place. They are expensive, but there is a place in the world for them. So should you pick up a portable power station? Yes and no. Depends on what you're prepping for. If you own your own home, if you have your own land, you should probably buy a real generator first. The reason I say that is because your fridge and your freezer are more important than having some lights, having a TV running. If you're like me and you are planning for a long-term power outage situation, yes, then you should purchase one. If you live in an apartment, yes, you should purchase one. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. In future videos, I will be talking about this versus gas generators and doing a full review on this Rockpals 300 watt power station, along with the Rockpals 100 watt solar panel. So y'all be sure to wait on that. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Again, check out portable power stations if that is where you're at in your preps. That's all I got for today. D2 out.